Hello, I'm Skinnybob, your favorite extraterrestrial. Today we're heading into the thin air of the Bolivian Altiplano to one of the strangest archaeological sites on Earth, a place where stone blocks lie scattered like toys of giants, where precision is so extreme that even modern engineers scratch their heads, and where local legends whisper about gods who came from the water to teach humanity. This is Puma Punku, the door of the Puma, a site that refuses to fit the history books and may hold the key to understanding a forgotten chapter of human civilization. Officially, archaeologists tell you Puma Punku was built around 500 to 1000 CE by the Tiwanaku culture. They say it was just a ceremonial platform, made with hammerstones, manpower, and patience. They say earthquakes shattered it and time covered it with dust. That's the textbook version, but if you actually walk among those stones, if you run your hand across the glass-smooth faces and peer into the impossible right angles, the story starts to fall apart, because Puma Punku doesn't look like a ruin of villagers stacking stones. It looks like the remnants of a machine. Let's talk logistics. Some of the sandstone blocks weigh more than 130 tons. The nearest quarry is kilometers away across uneven ground at nearly 4,000 meters above sea level. There are no forests here for timber rollers, no elephants or oxen to haul them, only llamas too small for the task. Then you have the andesite blocks, even harder stone, which came from quarries across Lake Titicaca, miles away over water. Imagine moving them on reed boats, then dragging them uphill in thin air. Possible, maybe. Practical, hardly. Now combine that with the precision. Blocks cut so accurately that you could slide a razor blade into the joints. What are we really looking at here? The H-blocks of Puma Punku are legendary. Dozens of them, nearly identical, carved with ledges, slots, and recesses that fit together like Lego. Each one shares the same ratios, the same dimensions, as if they were mass-produced. Archaeologists say they're unfinished or decorative, but why repeat a design over and over with such precision unless it served a functional purpose? They look like modular components designed to interlock into a greater structure. Some have grooves that resemble cable runs, others have holes drilled to uniform depths. It's almost as if we're looking at the stone skeleton of an unknown technology. Now consider the clamps. Across Puma Punku and Tiwanaku you see eye-shaped recesses where molten metal was poured to hold stones together. Analysis shows copper alloys. This means the builders not only shaped stone with precision but also cast metal to lock it in place. Why bother if gravity was enough? Because they needed absolute stability. Machines demand precision. Vibrations ruin performance. If Puma Punku was just a ceremonial platform, why engineer it like a turbine? And then there's the destruction. Puma Punku doesn't look gently ruined by time. It looks like it was blown apart. Lintels are snapped as if from shockwaves. Blocks are scattered like dice. Some show magnetic anomalies, as if exposed to extreme heat or electrical discharge. Earthquakes can topple, yes, but they don't magnetize stone. So what happened here? Was Puma Punku shattered by natural disaster, or was it caught in the crossfire of something more powerful? An ancient war of the gods, a surge of energy gone wrong, or even a weapon unleashed. Andean myths speak of Viracocha, the great teacher god, who rose from Lake Titicaca after a world-ending flood. He carried thunder rods, taught agriculture and architecture, brought order to chaos, then vanished across the sea. The Spanish chroniclers were baffled by the legends because locals described him with a beard, robes, and features not typical of the region. A foreigner, a civilizer remembered in myth. Was Viracocha a memory of contact with outsiders, survivors of a lost civilization, or perhaps something less human? Puma Punku fits a global pattern. Everywhere we look, we find megalithic sites that defy explanation. Baalbek in Lebanon, with stones so massive that modern cranes struggle. The pyramids of Giza, aligned with Orion and engineered with internal shafts that resonate. Angkor in Cambodia, encoding the precession of the equinoxes in stone. Teotihuacan in Mexico, with tunnels lined with mica and pools of liquid mercury. And here in Bolivia, Puma Punku, with blocks cut to perfection and scattered like an exploded factory. Different continents, same signatures. Precision, scale, alignment with the heavens, obsession with water, myths of gods who taught. Speaking of water, let's look closer. Tiwanaku and Puma Punku are riddled with channels, ducts, and drains. The Akapana Pyramid nearby has a complex hydrological system designed to channel rainwater in cascading patterns. At Puma Punku, the H-blocks and recesses could easily form part of a controlled water system. Why such obsession? Water is conductor, amplifier, and resonator. Flow it through shaped channels, combine it with vibration, and you create resonance, sound, even electrical effects. Some researchers believe Puma Punku was not a temple but a hydraulic machine, a generator of resonance, maybe even a gateway, a door of the Puma indeed. Now think about the name. In Andean cosmology, the Puma represents the middle world, the bridge between upper and lower realms. A door of the Puma could mean a threshold between worlds. Was Puma Punku a ritual threshold or something more literal? A place where energies converged, where the veil between dimensions was thin? Modern engineers might laugh, but ancient myths consistently describe sites like these as doors, gateways, portals. Maybe they weren't exaggerating. Let's talk tools. Mainstream archaeology insists the blocks were carved with harder hammerstones and abrasives. Sure, you can grind stone smooth, but can you create perfectly parallel slots, identical recesses, and internal right angles sharper than a carpenter's square, all by hand, over and over? The uniformity screams of templates, jigs, maybe even machinery. Some grooves show striations like saw marks. Some holes look drilled with tubular drills. And there are whispers of geopolymers, stones cast like concrete. A controversial idea, but tests on some blocks show organic material trapped inside, something natural andesite shouldn't have. If true, that means the builders weren't carving stone. They were pouring it. So what about age? Archaeologists stick to the 6th to 10th century, but alignments at Tiwanaku suggest solstice markers that match sky positions thousands of years earlier. Weathering on some blocks implies far more exposure than a millennium. And the strange fact remains, the most precise blocks look the oldest. Later work is rougher. Civilization should progress, but here it regresses. The logical answer is inheritance. Tiwanaku may have found Puma Punku already ancient, repaired it, reused it, ritualized it, but never matched its original mastery. This pattern repeats worldwide. The Inca built walls of small stones on top of megalithic foundations they couldn't replicate. Romans decorated Baalbek but didn't build its platform. The Khmers wrapped Angkor in Vishnu's mythology but inherited its deeper astronomical codes. Everywhere, the oldest layers are the most precise, and later cultures play dress-up on top. Puma Punku fits this pattern perfectly. Now let's step back. Why build such places? Ceremony is the safe word in archaeology. But ceremony to do what? Imagine architecture as an operating system. Stone, water, sound, and sky working together to alter consciousness, regulate crops, harness energy, or connect to something beyond. Puma Punku may have been a laboratory for human initiation, a resonant machine to align body and mind with cosmic cycles. Or perhaps it was part of a planetary grid, nodes across Earth tuned to the heavens, built by a civilization, or visitors, that understood energy in ways we've forgotten. Even the destruction tells a story. Was Puma Punku shattered by earthquakes, by cataclysm, or by deliberate force? Maybe a war between factions, human or otherwise? Myths of the gods fighting with thunder, the sky falling, floods reshaping the land. They could be memories of real events. Some blocks magnetized, some cracked as if by blast, the whole site blown apart. Whatever Puma Punku was, it didn't end quietly. And here's a tantalizing thought. Beneath Lake Titicaca, divers have found ruins, terraces, and artifacts. If water levels rose after seismic uplift or climate shifts, entire complexes may lie drowned. Could a twin of Puma Punku rest under the lake, preserved in silence, waiting for discovery? If so, it might hold answers to the true age and purpose of the door of the Puma. So what do we have? Modular blocks mass-produced like machine parts, molten metal clamps locking them in place. Logistics that defy primitive methods, geometry that encodes mathematics, hydrology that suggests energy systems, myths of gods emerging from the water after a cataclysm, destruction that looks explosive, not natural, and a pattern that links Puma Punku to Baalbek, Giza, Angkor, Teotihuacan, and beyond. This is not a random ruin. This is not a pile of rocks. This is a message in stone, a machine shattered, a door half open. A reminder that history is not a straight line but a cycle, with ages of knowledge rising and falling like the waters of Lake Titicaca. Puma Punku is the scar of a forgotten chapter, and maybe, just maybe, a warning that what was lost can be lost again. I'm Skinnybob, your favorite extraterrestrial, and remember, this is only for entertainment. Or is it?